Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Align with the Divine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Qasas, in the 20th episode, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين على أن تأجرني 8 حجج فإن أتممت 10 فمن عندك وما أريد أن أشق عليك ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصالحين. And a man said to Musa alayhi salam, indeed I would like to marry one of my 2 daughters off to you based on the fact that you are in my service or can help me for 8 years. But if you complete 10, then that's from you. I do not want to make it hard for you. Indeed, you will find me from those who are righteous. This ayah is mentioned in Surah Al-Qasas, and it teaches us a very, very deep, profound lesson in life. The context of this ayah first is Musa alayhi salam, before he had that grand, standoff with Fir'aun when he went back to Egypt, he accidentally killed someone in Egypt, which caused him to flee to Madyan. When he went to Madyan, what happened is he saw people taking their cattle to a lake in Madyan and giving water, providing water to the cattle. And then he sees alongside them 2 sisters. And these 2 sisters are kind of like struggling with the cattle and stuff. Now I want you to contextualize this imagery here, that there's 2 women and the rest of them are men with cattle, and these 2 women are struggling. So Musa alayhi salam, he goes and he helps them with their cattle, takes them, gives them the water and gives them back. So then these 2 women, sisters, probably go back to their father and saying, look, there's an honorable man, he's of good service, he can work, he can help. And then later on, other than just having a job, this man said, I will marry one of my 2 daughters off to you. So you learn from this, subhanAllah, in a very brief message, that sometimes when people are scared of the unknown, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the unknown very easy, so long as the unknown was done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a world where people need plans which are concrete and cemented, and of course you need to have, overarching plans for your life, but then there's blips in life where some things happen and they completely knock you off course in your life. And that leaves someone almost like a deer in front of headlights. When you're in that moment, try and remember this story. Because Musa alayhi salam, he left Egypt, came to Madyan, he was being chased, and when he got to Madyan, he didn't know what he was going to do for a job. He had no stability, he had no family, he had no idea of what was going to happen. And subhanAllah, maybe a people on this world, on this earth, who can reflect this story best are the people of Palestine. They don't really know what's in store for tomorrow. But because they live for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in today, Allah makes their tomorrow capable and easy. And this is the story of Musa alayhi salam in this short section. So not only did he get married, he had a job. People get scared, when they move to a new location. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay the bills, or how am I going to earn money? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of that. Not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the means by which he can now start a family. And Allah azza wa jal gave him the stability here. The last point I'd want to end on this is, when Musa alayhi salam, so again, think about this, you're leaving a place, you're worried, you're anxious, you don't know what's happening. Normally, the natural reaction for someone in that scenario is to go and kind of lock themselves away and hide, or just, they're swamped in their worries. When Musa alayhi salam saw that he could provide an act of service to these 2 women, he didn't allow his inner personal problems and the worries of those problems, reach a height where it stopped him from doing something good for insan. So the second message you take from this, regardless of what's going wrong in your life, never allow that to become a hurdle and a barrier to do good for the wider world, Muslim and non-Muslim. They're 2 completely separate ball games. What we face inside and our service to mankind. Our service to mankind should never be dictated by how our struggles may be in our hearts and minds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those people who can provide unconditional service to mankind, because that is the actual role of the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All goodness was from Allah and any mistakes were from me. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.